Late last week, Jurassic Park Survival was announced, and the internet, myself included, lost their minds a little bit. Here we had the game most of us have been asking for years now, a survival action-adventure game taking place in the original park just a day after the events of the first film, and absolutely nailing the look and tone of the original film, with a minor quibble, being that the dinosaurs appear to be their Jurassic World equivalents rather than the Jurassic Park ones, assumedly because those newer models are readily available. I hope this is fixed on the way to release, given it's meant to be selling us that 1993 vibe, but I digress. Much excitement, much wow, up-to-date memes. Now throughout the trailer we see a bunch of dinosaurs, including a few of the carnivores that are going to be hunting us down across the length of the game. We've got Dilophosaurus, we've got Velociraptor, and of course we've got Tyrannosaurus Rex, Rexy herself. Those are the only predatory dinosaurs that exist in the original film, if you exclude Hammond eviscerating a bowl of ice cream whilst his grandkids are eaten alive by dinosaurs. But maybe there's scope for more here. One of the cool things Survival could possibly do is take us places in Jurassic Park that we never get to see in the film, to exhibits that we never see in the film. So today we're going to take a look at some of the canonical unseen carnivores that could make an appearance in Survival and how they might fit into the game, into an action-adventure survival game. We're going to focus on the film here rather than the novel, because that is clearly what the game is going to be pulling from. And we're going to be pulling from this map throughout. Creators are on the screen now, huge shout out to all of them. Now there really isn't a good canonical 1993 map, maybe this game will give us one, finally, but until then this really is the best of the bunch in my opinion. Now before we dig into the 5, it's worth noting there are a bunch of dinosaurs that InGen were in the process of creating, but never managed to, nail down the genome, you know how slippery they can be, and they never got an official exhibit built in Jurassic Park. Allosaurus, Dimorphodon, not a carnivore but it did act like one in Jurassic World, Carnivorous and Suchomimus were all planned to make it into the park at some point, or were present instead on Isla Sorna, ready to be transported. Isla Sorna was basically the dinosaur creation facility before dinosaurs were transferred to the official park on Nublar, and the former 3 in that list would all eventually appear in the Jurassic World trilogy. But we do have a bunch of dinosaurs that we know officially had exhibits prepared for them on Isla Nublar. 5 more carnivores that, whilst in various states of genome development, were all ready to be deployed on Isla Nublar eventually. Honestly, the canon, in my opinion, is so shaky after the recent 3 films that I think you could throw in any number of different dinosaurs here, but for me, these are the 5 that make the most sense, as they're tying in more directly with what we know of the original park layout, irrespective of later films or later marketing materials. Some of these dinosaurs were present on Isla Nublar during the events of Jurassic Park, they just never made it into the film. According to the DPG, now that's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom's marketing material angle basically, there were 4 Herrerasaurus present in Jurassic Park in 1993, though the exhibit wasn't yet open to the public. Herrerasaurus is quite a rarity in the franchise as it's one of the very few Triassic dinosaurs, heralding from the first of the 3 dinosaur-flavoured epochs. That makes Herrerasaurus very early in dinosaur development, and whilst it wouldn't have dominated the decidedly un-dinosaur-friendly Triassic, it would set the template that a lot of massively successful theropods would follow down the line. It also gets big bonus points having already appeared in Telltale's Jurassic Park the game, another game tying directly into the events of the first film. The canonical status of Jurassic Park the game is very much up and down, back and forth. There are DPG documents that seemingly canonize various elements of the game, but then some of the writers are on record as saying the game isn't canon. Who knows? Anyway, I hate discussions on canon, by the way. It's hard to avoid in a video like this, but I really hate discussions on canon. It's just so pointless these days. What is canon though is the presence of the Herrerasaurus habitat, and Jurassic Park the game introduced these dinosaurs in probably its best known sequence, a battle atop the Bone Shaker roller coaster, one of the many planned attractions that would never see public release. Now, whilst I'd be very surprised, happily surprised, but surprised to see the Bone Shaker return, it'd be really great to canonize again the Telltale design for the Herrerasaurus, which is striking with these wavy black lines and this red and yellow colouring. It's a dinosaurification of the Jurassic Park logo itself. It's a real word, don't look it up. The Herrera occupies a similar niche to the raptors in a way, but it's larger, it's thicker, it's more robust, and it's prone to the same aggression that the Velociraptors are. It happily jumps onto a moving roller coaster in pursuit of its prey. That's dedication. Whilst I think they're probably still a little bit too similar to the raptors to see play in Jurassic Park Survival, if they do, I'd see them hunting in much smaller numbers and using brute force to hunt down the player rather than the guile and intelligence that the Velociraptors would use. Whilst here, a small nod to the Troodon. This was introduced with Jurassic Park the game. It was really never officially canonised. It was only mentioned to exist at all thanks to an interview with DPG writers that Clayton did. I don't think there's enough in this to warrant inclusion in the game, as much as I'd love an up-to-date variant on the Telltale version, and stylistically I think it's maybe just a little bit too disparate from the ethos of the original film. It's a cool looking dinosaur, but it's also nonsensical. It really is. I love it, but it's madness. Let's go a little bit smaller. Stegosaurus is very much the forgotten dinosaur of Jurassic Park, if you ignore its presence on about 100,000 wish lists for Jurassic World Evolution 2. An icon for the Stegosaurus exhibit was present on the Jurassic Park brochure, but the tour didn't reach it and it was largely forgotten by the franchise except for a brief mention in the DPG notes. That's going to be a recurring theme here. Unlike everything else in today's video, it really doesn't appear anywhere else in the entire canon, in the entire franchise, none of the games, no other materials other than the Jurassic Park Institute website, which was a tie-in website back in the day that had a huge number of bonus dinosaurs on it. Stegosaurus itself is a small, 1 meter long, coelophysid dinosaur from the early Jurassic, and its size alone makes it a really good fit for survival, I think. The smallest dinosaur we have in Jurassic Park is kind of Dilophosaurus. Compy doesn't appear until the sequel, and a game trying to spin this scary action-adventure sequence probably benefits from a smaller, swarming type of dinosaur. It could hunt much the way the Compsognathus does in the sequel, these large packs that nip at you and bite at you until you die a death of 1,000 cuts. Conventional weaponry wouldn't be ideal on such a numerous target. You'd be better climbing out of reach or hiding in water, accentuating that kind of survival aspect that this title is going for. It is bigger than the Compy, but I still think it would be effective, and it'd be great to get a canonical design and a reappearance for this oft-forgotten dinosaur. Whilst here, last time I'll do this, I swear, I am going to talk about the Compsognathus. This teeny tiny dinosaur does give me my personal favourite kill in the entire franchise, thanks to Dieter Stark in the Lost World Jurassic Park. And at a tiny 75 centimeters on the smaller specimens, even better placed for that incredible swarming style kill. It doesn't appear in the original film at all, although Compsognathus is the first dinosaur in the original novel, but a DPG page suggests that some Compsognathus did make it over to Isla Nublar from Isla Sorna, likely stowing away on shipping containers and the like. This has more legs than a lot of the materials because we do see Compsognathus on Isla Nublar at the start of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, so they are there canonically. Compsognathus is on the island. But still, I would prefer Jurassic Park Survival try not to utilise this sort of retrospective canonisation, instead focusing on what someone in 1993 would believe would be present on the island. Now, much bigger, and my personal favourite choice if Survival is going to add any of these unseen carnivores, Baryonyx. Present near the eastern coast of the island, this piscivorous dinosaur, okay, not carnivorous, but it'll work, it's fine, was between 25 to 30 feet in length, making it a perfect fit between the huge size of that apex Tyrannosaurus Rex and the more nimble, smaller Velociraptors and Dilophosaurus. The original Jurassic Park lacks for medium-sized carnivores. Well, here's a great one. The use cases are pretty obvious as well. As a piscivore, the Baryonyx would have primarily hunted in waterways, and thanks to its dense bone structure, would likely have been actively swimming underwater hunting for its prey. Now tell me that doesn't sound perfect for a game like this. Nothing else in the game is going to be well suited to water encounters, except maybe the Rex if you want a fun novel reference, I guess. And also this is kind of feeling like a fun nod to Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus as well. Design-wise, there are some problems with Baryonyx because, of course, Baryonyx does exist in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, in super ugly, weird crocodile monster form. It also appears on the Jurassic World website with this beautiful paleo design that unfortunately never made it to screen, and then it also appears in the fairly fantastic The Lost World game on the PS1. If it was to appear in Survival, I would prefer a new design that fits in both with the modern knowledge of the dinosaur and those original Jurassic Park design sensibilities. I think it's easy enough to say that the Fallen Kingdom one is simply the Masrani design of the dinosaur. Baryonyx isn't the only choice for a medium carnivore though. Metriacanthosaurus had an exhibit on the northeast side of the island, and is even, sort of, glimpsed in the film briefly, as its name appears on a genome vial as Nedry does, Nedry things, basically. Also yes, they misspelled Stegosaurus. Metriacanthosaurus is a medium-sized theropod from the Jurassic, which would make it rather novel in Jurassic Park ironically. At 26 feet long, it'd occupy that same niche I mentioned for the Baryonyx, but would be a much more terrestrial focused hunter. Now whilst it wouldn't have the speed of the raptors or the power of the Rex, it would act as a good halfway between the two, maybe able to chase you into buildings and through the wilderness in a way that the larger theropods would be unable to. You need encounters like these with different sized dinosaurs to offer different pacing and different threats, different ways of dinosaurs getting to you. The Rex should be saved to those big climactic sequences, but until that happens, do you only want smaller carnivores to hunt you? I think you want something that even on its own could rush you down and lift you up off the ground. Not in an erotic way, you get me, but Metri would be a great fit for that. It, like the Baryonyx, already also has a beautiful canonical design thanks to the Jurassic World website, and this was doubled down on in Jurassic World Evolution, which used it as a direct source for their design. So hey, just ask Frontier if you can borrow the model and bam, Metriacanthosaurus. Done. Finally then we have Proceratosaurus. Found on the western edge of the park layout, this small theropod is a basal tyrannosauroid, a blueprint from which tyrannosaurids, like Tyrannosaurus rex, would eventually appear, albeit not directly. Now that makes it, I think, quite a nice inclusion thematically, and at 10 feet long it would be approximately the same size as the juvenile Dilophosaurus we see in Jurassic Park. As an aside, by the way, what a cool opportunity to maybe give us a full-sized adult Dilophosaurus. That's very wishful thinking, but you never know. Proceratosaurus does look distinct from Dilophosaurus with its skinny, lithe body and the small crest upon its skull, hence the Ceratosaurus in its name, and I can see it maybe fulfilling the same niches the Troodon does in Jurassic Park the game. Make it this chirpy, nocturnal hunter, stalking the prey from the shadows of the trees before launching into pack hunts. Incapable of solo kills, like the raptor and the Dilo would be, you could see one and you wouldn't have to worry. But instead it would simply watch you until it had the appropriate numbers. You'd have to start counting them, keeping an eye on how many of them are chasing you or watching you, and that's when you know you need to be scared. Design wise, there isn't much to talk about for Proceratosaurus. Frontier did do a good job integrating it into Jurassic World Evolution, and it's a design I think could fit perfectly well into a Jurassic Park era game. And that's the 5, folks. The 5 carnivorous dinosaurs who at the very least had prepared exhibits in the original Jurassic Park. These are the only other 5 carnivores that had exhibits ready in Jurassic Park. And for me, that's the 5 that would make the most sense to include if we're really trying to sell that 1993 feeling. The canon in the years since has developed a lot in ways I've enjoyed. A lot of it has been fantastic. But the thing I haven't liked is this insistence on changing huge swathes of Jurassic Park trilogy canon thanks to marketing materials for Jurassic World trilogy. These kind of retroactive changes just don't really sit well with me, and I'd really like to see Jurassic Park Survival tighten up those dinosaur designs and then really sell us this pure 1993 nostalgic experience. We've got so much Jurassic World material, it's time for something that's truly Jurassic Park. For what it's worth, I would wager that Compsognathus is probably the most likely out of any of these to appear, if any of them are going to. But a boy can dream, can't he? Boy can dream. We'll end it there. If you enjoyed this video, please consider throwing me a like down below and comment which of these 5 potential carnivores would you most like to see introduced in Jurassic Park Survival. If any. It is totally legitimate to only want movie dinosaurs to appear. And actually, if I had to guess, I think that's probably what they'll do. I don't think we'll see any dinosaur that doesn't appear on screen. But hey, it's fun to speculate, right? If you've got any other topics you'd like to see me cover re Jurassic Park Survival, feel free to let me know down below, and I will see you lovely folks next time. Thank you so much for joining me. Cheers much love as always. Bye bye.